Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole bringing you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time you are watching this live. Hello, crew. Hope all is well. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in, please. And this is my review, my recap on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Season 16, episode, I don't even know. I just know that it's called Chapter 1 Reset. I have a poll up, you guys, and I would like to know if you guys feel if The Real Housewives of Atlanta is over. Like, is it just time to completely end this franchise and move on to another city? Or we just need a cast? Y'all let me know, because at this point, I'm over the petty nonsense and the forced drama that just doesn't feel solid or real anymore. And I should have called this damn episode Everyone Hates Drew. Okay. Everyone hates Drew. And I just don't like the ganging up that they're doing on her. Y'all already know I'm not that big of a Drew fan. Most of the time I pass her scenes, but I will tell you this. She done took some lessons from Miss Angela, because she read and slayed some Heffas this episode, okay? Drew is the one who actually saved this episode. So let's get started. So we have Shamia, and she is trying to tell her cute, adorable daughter the whole lesson about giving, but at the same time, she brags about how she pulled her car underneath the highway to feed the homeless people. So, one thing about giving, you're not supposed to tell people about your giving like that. And of course, this was on display. And I get the whole situation of you guys having all the donations come over to the house. And of course, this is film. But we did not need to know that you parked your car under a highway to feed all the homeless people. I thought that was your freaking bragging. And it just didn't come off cute at all. And like, you did it for the right reasons for you to say that. Now, again, she did teach her daughter that, look, you have a lot of stuff and there's people who need it more than you. So yeah, we're going to give this stuff away, because mommy also had to give away her stuff because we have people out there who are without. And so at that point, we see Kelli and a couple of the other girls. They're coming by to drop off their stuff that they're giving away. And, you know, she talks to Kelli about Shamia, that is, talks to Kelli, and I think it was Boring Brit, about her fake beef with Porsha and how they talked or whatever, and how they both teared up and was about to cry. Girl, bye. So anyways, this scene, honey, with Porsha and Drew, let me tell you something. Porsha's wig was giving me everything. The colors, the bangs. I don't know about y'all, but I was feeling her look in this scene. Y'all let me know if y'all was feeling the look. But I was feeling her look. And she actually tagged Porsha's hairline. Okay, she tagged it. And mind you, this is around the time that they was doing this stupid drama. She tagged it saying it was Porsha's hair, and Porsha in her confessional saying, that ain't my hairline. Maybe it's blended in there, but that ain't my hairline. And I'm thinking, like, you petty scallywag. This girl is literally promoting your line that I don't even think even gets paid for at this point. And you want to throw shade at it. See, this is what I'm talking about with people. It's like, you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. So you just might as well just say F them all and keep it pushing, because she gave you a shout out. It was a promo. and you still want to talk mess. And honestly, if I would have saw that wig, I would want to buy it because the wig was cute. Now, it may not look as good on me as it would on Drew, but the whole point is the colors and everything looked very, very nice. So, but let me tell you something. Porsha sat down with Drew. Drew was ready for her ass. Okay, she's ready for her ass. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. She was not playing games, and I think she's just tired of it. Mind you, she's going through a divorce. Not only is she not going through a divorce, Porsha's going through. She's going through a divorce. Porsha's going through a divorce. Kelli, I don't even think her divorce is final. But yet, these are the two main heifers that keep ganging up on Drew. So Porsha is like, look, I want to just get past this or whatever the case may be. And of course, this nonsense about the filming with Dennis. And I'm just like, I am over it. I'm over it. And so Drew is like, yeah, okay, you talking about me filming with Dennis, but then I found out you was filming with Ralph. And one thing that Drew said that was a very valid point, at least with Dennis, what you saw, at least from the beginning, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, with Drew filming with Dennis, it was strictly about the music. And it was strictly about the business side of her trying to get her music up. When it came to Porsha sitting down with Ralph, it was strictly her being a petty scallywag trying to sit up there and stir the pot and get more information when it comes to Porsha and Ralph. That is the difference. That is the difference. I personally, while Drew can be very passive aggressive, while Drew can, apparently lie and all of this stuff, deep down, I don't think that she purposely, maliciously was trying to hurt Porsha. I don't. I feel like she felt like, look, this is business at the end of the day, but I really don't think that she was trying to really hurt her. Porsha was trying to hurt Drew. She was definitely trying to hurt Drew, which is why that karma is going to come back 10 times fold. Because at the end of the day, you know what it's like to go through a divorce. Now, the reality is, I don't personally think that Porsha ever gave a dang on about Simon. I really don't think that she cared about him in that way. She cared about his bank account. I don't even know, hell, if Drew felt that way about Ralph. I don't know, but I'm going to assume maybe she did. I don't know. But what I do know is divorce is stressful regardless on if you was in it for love or money or both, period. So the thing about Drew, though, make sure you guys hit the like button. Hit the like button. Please hit the like button. So the thing about Drew, though, was she wasn't playing no games. Now, what I do see is Porsha being messy as hell, trying to mention that she's dating someone named Black. And this is what I'm saying about Porsha. Porsha don't want to talk about her divorce, but she real quick to mention that Drew is dating someone named Black when potentially that could hurt her divorce. You see that type of trifling stuff? This is what I'm saying. Like, I'm sick and tired of these heifers. None of them, to me, come across as good, genuine people. When she went there, I was like, you already know how petty and how vindictive Ralph is coming across with this whole situation. You had to know he was petty and vindictive to sit with you two trifling ass heifers known as Shamia and Porsha. No real man is going to sit down and have a conversation with y'all two about his freaking divorce. A man is just going to handle his business and keep it freaking moving. So you already know how he operates. And the mere fact that you want to sit up there and bring up, oh, ain't you dating Black? And then she had the nerve to say in her confessional that Dennis told her that she was dating Black. Drew was dating Black. She was like, oh, was I supposed to say that? Can y'all cut that? Girl, bye. You knew what the hell you was doing. You knew you was being messy, and that could hurt her divorce. And she kept saying, no, I'm not dating him. And, I'm not dating anyone right now because as messy as this divorce is, I don't want anything to jeopardize my divorce situation. Now, could Drew be sitting up there getting her back broken somewhere? She possibly is, but ain't none of her damn business, Porsha. It's none of your business. But what's interesting, did y'all notice that when Drew clapped back and said, well, I haven't sat up there and mentioned about how you dating beep, they blanked it out. And I'm like, why did they blank out that part? Now, is this person famous? But I find it very interesting that Drew's so-called alleged guy's name can be put out there, but Porsha's can't. I found that to be very interesting. But Drew baby wasn't playing no games. And I think Angela taught her how to remain calm and read for the gods, okay? Because she went in there and was going in on Porsha. So much so Porsha couldn't handle the heat and she walked out. She couldn't even sit up there and sit and say anything to clap back. Because one thing about it, Porsha, when somebody's really getting at her, the only way that she knows how to handle the situation is either to run away or try to fight. Those are her only options. She already knows she can't be fighting no more because that's going to be an issue. So she just ran away. As soon as Drew was getting the best of her, baby, she was, I'm sick of these bitches. Yeah, girl, bye. You couldn't take the heat. Get your ass out. Get your ass out. Which, by the way, was very interesting and very cute that they went to a tea shop. I thought that was very cute. Which interesting. People in Atlanta, y'all find out where that tea place is and let me know how that tea place is. And do they actually like have a successful business just giving people tea? I'm hoping they sell more than tea, but hell, I don't know. But anyways, moving on. But yeah, love Drew's whole look and loved the fact that she sat up there and shaded and read the hell out of freaking Porsha where she could not handle it. So anyways, moving on, child. Kelli is talking to her daughters about going to Grenada and how she's going to be missing their first day of school. And so her PR, her publicist and / family friend is going to be taking the kids to school. Now, sidebar, y'all, for someone who ain't got no two-legged kids yet, she said that the twins have to be at school at 7 a.m. Y'all, do they literally start school now at 7 a.m.? Is that accurate? 7 a.m.? I've heard of 7:45. And that's like the early bird. But most of the time, school, from my understanding, used to start at 8 or later than that, maybe 8:45. But 7 a.m., is it getting to the point where they're starting school that early? That means them kids got to be up easily by 5:30 in the morning. Make sure that they get dressed, bathe, do all of that stuff, eat a good meal. That is ridiculous. She said the twins got to be there at 7, and there's a particular order on how he has to drop them off. And he was like, how long you gonna be gone? I was like, exactly, honey, because that is early in the morning. Now, mind y'all know I'm an early bird, but I'm an early bird who's in my house. I'm not an early bird getting in the car and trying to make sure kids are ready. Your high school was at 7:05? Oh my gosh. Ooh-wee. That is insane. So y'all got to, and depending on how far they school is, it's a good chance that you got to be in the car easily by 6 a.m., 6:30, especially with that Atlanta traffic. You got to be, that is insane. That is insane. But anywho, so at that point, he ends up talking to her about how he spoke to her ex because they had a good relationship and he decided to FaceTime him. And pretty much he said that the ex was like, hell no to everything. Like Sophia in The Color Purple, hell no. Hell no. So he was like, look, y'all got to work this together for the kids. Hell no. Y'all got to do this and, y'all got to sit up there. Maybe y'all can work this out. Hell no. You got to sit up there and see your kids and support the kids. Hell no. So at that point, Kelli begins to cry. We don't see the tears. Looks like her eye sockets get a little moist. We don't see the tears, but she says, look, at the end of the day, it's pretty effed up for him to do that, because I understand you don't want to deal with me, but these are the kids. Like, that you should want to deal with your kids. You shouldn't have the option of being a parent when you want to. I don't have an option. I don't have that option. I said, I definitely agree with that. But the way that we are hearing what is going on is kind of a situation where I'm like, does he feel like she's that devious and that mean that he can't have a relationship with the kids? And what I mean by that is there going to be drama? Like, Could somebody pick up the kids for him so then he doesn't have to be in her presence at all? Because sometimes it's so toxic and so much drama in relationships like that that you just trying to pick up your kids can cause some issues. So I don't necessarily know, especially with the word on the street, the word on the curb. I don't necessarily know. If I can't wait if he ever tells his side of the story. I can't wait. I really can't wait. Now, granted, apparently he did admit, or he did actually in the court allegedly say he was going to off her, but apparently Kelli's pretty toxic, and she's pretty toxic with how she spends money, allegedly. So I don't know, but she cries about it and she's frustrated about the whole situation. But again, as parents, you know, you got to do what's best for the kids. Hopefully he finds a way where he can get his kids, you know, and be able to have that relationship. Now, if reality is, if he doesn't want to deal with his kids at all, meaning that I don't want to deal with them, even if we were on good terms, now that we're divorced, I'm divorcing the kids, then yeah, he's pretty effed up and he's going to have to pay for that. But anyways, on their way to Grenada, they are all at the airport hugging and stuff. And child, let me tell y'all something. Y'all already know I'm not a fan of Phaedra. For those who are literally crew, y'all know I'm not a fan of Phaedra at all whatsoever. But Phaedra had the nerve to try to clown Angela, saying that she is the oldest looking young woman she has ever met. Mind you, Angela had no problem being barefaced at the airport, while others literally were full makeup. 3 pounds of makeup, lashes, eyeshadow, foundation, concealer, and everything else. Like Phaedra, Angela was confident and bold enough to be barefaced and go to the airport, which most people are. They're trying to be comfortable on a long flight. They ain't trying to be made up head to toe, but that's that fake effery like typically Atlanta has and the LAs have, that people feel like they have to do that, especially with the cameras around. I commend Angela by saying, look, baby, this is me bare. Take it or leave it. I don't think Angela has an old face at all whatsoever. Angela just had a normal face with no makeup on. But Phaedra, see, this is what I'm talking about when people get the money and they start getting the best makeup artists and they start getting the alleged surgeries and everything else. We have to look at your before and after pictures, my love. And even still, I don't know. Like I said, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but all day, every day, I would say who I feel is prettier. I'm going to say Angela. Sorry. I'm going to say Angela in a situation that Angela is a much prettier girl than Phaedra. But again, that's my opinion. But with that being said, when they get there, Shamia's bag gets lost or is left in Atlanta. But when they're driving to the actual resort or the house they're going to be staying at, Phaedra wants to know where's the beef at and who's beefing. And of course, everyone hates Drew. All right. Now, again, Drew is trying to explain what's going on. Make sure you guys hit the likety-like button. I think we got 14 people in the chat. Please make sure you hit the likety-like button and make sure you answer the poll that I have up here. So, you know, she's like telling Phaedra the issue and the drama with Porsha or whatever. And Phaedra's like, well, I don't really know anything about her, you know, besides the fact she a child actress or whatever the case may be. I think she was on Soul Train. I know she just looks different. And, you know, she had this quirky outfit on. And I'm thinking like, Phaedra, aren't you in your 50s doing all of this BS? Like, seriously, I guess you got to earn your check, but it's given that I'm over it. I'm over it. Like, it's too much. So at that point, they end up getting to the house. And interesting enough, they sit around and they pair them up on who's going to be staying with who or whatever. And I think it was Angela that was going to be in the room with Porsha. Angela was like, I don't have no problem being in the room with Porsha. I mean, Charles isn't here. So, I mean, hey, let's do it or whatever. So they pretty much had to pick rooms. of course, for whatever reason, Drew always gets the freaking shadiest room of them all. And I feel like production is also messing with Drew too. But Drew letting them know, y'all hoes ain't about to get to me. Even when she arm wrestled with Cynthia, because she was rooming with Cynthia, who's going to get the best room, she decided to give Cynthia the actual room with, I think, the king size bed with the balcony and everything. Because she was like, I'm in Grenada. I don't give a ish. I'm in Grenada. I'm having a good time. And I was like, see, this is why at the end of the day, people are going to be rooting for Drew. I like Drew in these scenes than I've liked her throughout the whole freaking season. These scenes with Ralph and her talking about her divorce and stuff, I don't care. But these scenes, she was giving me a little life. And I said, I think Angela has been prepping her. Like, look, my Chi-Town sister, you need to step your game up and you don't let these heifers, these scallywags run you. Be calm and read them for filth. So at that point, Cynthia and Drew, they end up talking on a balcony, and Drew is talking about how she's a Taurus and the signs of a Taurus, and Cynthia, I guess, is dating some guy named Amsterdam of all names. But saying how he's very passionate and everything. And she said, I'm not keeping him as, she's like, I'm not trying to hide him. I'm just not telling my business. But what I'm saying, he's a passionate guy. And she seems happy. So I'm like, hell, why not? So then Drew tells her about her conversation with Porsha and how it didn't even last for 15 minutes. But she also mentions to Cynthia that Porsha filmed with Ralph. And Cynthia's like, okay, well, then at this point, y'all even. Like, she didn't like the fact that you filmed with Dennis. She filmed with Ralph. It's even. Hopefully it's over. Like, it's one and done. It's a done deal. So at the dinner, honey, let's get to the dinner. Let's get to the dinner. Lord have mercy. Where the hell do I damn start? First of all, let's start off with the fact that Angela said that she's spending her 8-year wedding anniversary with these heifers. Did y'all hear that? And I'm like, is this a contract obligation or is there really something going on? Because I was just like, I'd be damn if I spend my any wedding anniversary with these heifers just to sit up there and beef and be messy. So hopefully it was a contract obligation where she had to come to the actual trip. Like, because of filming and because this is the out of the country trip, everybody has to go. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that is the case, because I was like, I'd be damn. But with that, Kelli, pick me messy behind, says that she wants to do a reset. And she says she especially wants to do a reset with Shamia and Drew. And Drew was like, well, look, if you have an issue with me, let's clear the air. And she keeps talking about being called a lapdog, Shamia. And I'm like, but you are, sweetheart. You are. I mean, at the end of the day, what else are you when it comes to Porsha? You are the lapdog. And Shamia sits up there and says, because Drew said, well, I called you that because you ended up going back to Porsha, telling her something completely different than what I said at your actual studio session. And Shamia was like, look, if people talk behind each other's back, yeah, I'm going to run it back. I don't do that fake stuff or whatever the case may be. So if you talk behind somebody's back, I'm going to tell that other person. Excuse me, guys. That's what she tried to imply. However, if that's the case, were you going to tell Angela what Porsha said about wanting to possibly F her husband? I don't like people who have a different set of rules from themselves and then a certain set of rules for others. And that's what Shamia consistently gives. So at that point, Drew was like, well, a hit dog will holler. And everybody's like, whoa, hold on, you called her a dog. Hold on. And so Shamia's like, see, that's what I'm talking about. She can kiss my ass. That's what I'm talking about, calling me a dog. First of all, it is an expression. A hit dog will holler. Very nice play on words, though, Drew. I loved it, considering the fact you called her a lap dog. But what's up with all the emotion and the aggression? And even Drew had to say that, and I had to agree, because it seems very interesting that everybody wants to blow up and make it seem like everything that comes out of Drew's mouth is a big deal, but not when it comes out of other people's mouths. And of course, we're looking at status on the show also. Let's be clear, Porsha is numero uno. Now that Phaedra is back, Phaedra is number 2, but Shamia is in the 3rd spot. And the reason why I would say Shamia is in the 3rd spot is because, of course, she has had her experience already on the show. But guess who Shamia is really good friends with? Kandi. And I think that's another reason why, low key, Kelli is trying to make sure she stay on Shamia good terms. Because guess what? One thing about Kandi know how to make her money. And what I have constantly heard is if Kandi feel like you a genuine person and you about your paper, she has no problem helping you make money. And sounds like rumor has it, Kelli need that. She need that type of support. So not only does Shamia have a freaking husband that got a wad of money who can potentially invest, you also have Kandi who can potentially invest. All right. Sorry if you guys, if y'all heard noise in the background, one of the fur babies is acting bad right now. So I think that's her reason for doing what she's doing and being a big time pick me in the situation. All right. But they made it seem like it was such a big deal. Oh my gosh, you called her a dog. That's not cool. And Drew was like, what is up with all of this emotion, this hostility? Like, what is going on? So then at that point, Kelli has the audacity to say, Drew, I feel like you have a problem with everyone at this table, or everyone at this table has a problem with you. The only person you don't have a problem with is Cynthia. And I was like, where the hell did that come from? And even Drew was like, what? And I was like, yeah, what? And I was like, okay, Kelli, you are coming off not only that you being extra, not only that you want to try to keep your peace so you can get out of this debt that they claim that you have and your back rent and everything else, but it's almost coming off like you fraudulent and you purposely lying to create a storyline. You have Angela right in front of Drew, who literally, she ain't got no beef with her. She ain't got no beef with Cynthia, but she also ain't got no beef with Phaedra. She don't even know Phaedra. So what are you talking about? And then when did she have a beef with you? So I was confused myself. I said, hold the hell up. This is insane. So Drew was like, what? And she was like, I don't have an issue with Porsha. Porsha has an issue with me. And Porsha's like, no, I don't. No, I don't. Like, you have to have energy to have an issue with someone. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, this is just insane. But at the end of the day, they so-called are saying that they're over it. They keep mentioning the whole Dennis situation, the whole Ralph situation. Hell, I'm over this conversation at this point. I'm over it. You know what I mean? And so literally the situation with Shamia, though, I was laughing when Phaedra was like, I mean, you calling her a dog? And Drew was like, well, she barked at the table. And I was like, she sure did. I saw that episode. I posted in my community wall and I said, I am completely bored with this damn show. When she was like, kiss my ass, bitch, kiss my ass, bitch. I was like, ooh, uncouth. I said, let me tell you something. I don't care how much money her husband have. You cannot take the ghetto and the hood out of anybody. Who sits up there and barks at a damn table? Whatever you like. And then you get mad because someone called you a lap dog. But with that being said, she pretty much said anybody call her a freaking lap dog, they can kiss her ass. Well, lap dog, I don't know what else to say, but you are a freaking lap dog to Porsha. But Porsha trying to say she over it. They make amends. They trying to say, look, it's a done deal. It is what it is. And we could just move forward. We don't know what the friendship situation is going to be like, but at least we could be cordial and move forward or whatever. So then Angie also tells Shamia, like, well, you know, you kind of ran back our, you know, intimate private conversation. And Phaedra is like, did you really think that Shamia wouldn't go back and tell Porsha, who was her best friend? Valid point. but wrong person saying it, considering the fact that you were the one who sat up there and said that Shamia and Todd and Candy were allegedly having freaky tales right in front of Porsha, her so-called BFF, and Porsha didn't say nothing. In fact, I think that season she didn't tell Shamia. She didn't go back and tell Shamia. I think Shamia had to find that out, if I'm not mistaken, on the actual show. So yeah, so I think to a certain extent, yes, maybe they did expect that, considering the fact that Shamia has had her issues with Porsha, and I think she would have to see at this point Porsha ain't really her friend. But with that being said, it was still valid if we're talking about legitimate friendship. Valid friendship, but that ain't the case. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I ain't say hi to y'all, but y'all know how I be talking. So Angela did the same thing with Porsha, though. V baby, you got to be a little bit more specific. Y'all say things real quick, and I be talking, and I don't know what you're referring to. So give me details on what you're referring to in that situation. But with that, after that, Kelli goes to Porsha and says, well, Porsha, do you feel you've been a good friend to Shamia? And Portia's like, me and Shamia have talked. We worked it out. Like, there's nothing else to discuss in the situation. Like, we've talked about it. And for whatever reason, Shamia feels like Porsha shutting down that conversation. She felt that that was Porsha fighting for their friendship. How? How was her pretty much saying we talked about it and y'all need to stay out of it, fighting for y'all friendship? Sounds like to me was fighting for her to not sit up there and talk about what Kelli really asked her is, do you feel like you've been a good friend to Shamia? Okay, but I guess. So literally at that point, Kelli says, well, she said a lot of stuff. Do y'all feel like that Kelli is a pick-me? I'm sorry. I feel like she's a pick-me and she's doing too freaking much. But with that, she sits up there and has her little sidebar comments. And after Porsha and Drew so-called make up, Shamia and her didn't make up in my damn opinion. But after Porsha and Drew make up, boring Brit, unhinged Brit sits up there and says, I want to clear something up. I want to clear something up. I just want to let you know, Apollo coming, my husband is the one who invited him, Phaedra. And I just want to let you know there was nothing malicious as far as, the invite and his wife. I just kind of wanted to let you know so it wouldn't be any drama or any issues. And Phaedra was like, girl, Apollo got a whole nother wife. I don't care about what goes on with Apollo, but let's be clear. You want my personal opinion? Phaedra never cared about Apollo. Apollo was a look for her because Apollo actually is good looking. And she probably wanted some of those good looks to come off on her kids. My personal opinion. And her kids are actually cute, and I think they take after their father. But with that being said, I also feel like based on what Angela Stanton said, not the Angela on the show, but the Angela Stanton that did the book on Phaedra, that maybe, just maybe, rumor has it, she purposely married Apollo to protect herself for the alleged stuff that she was doing. Because when you marry them, you can't testify against your spouse. See, and she clearly know that Apollo ain't the brightest crayon in the box. He may have the body, he may have the look, but he ain't smart, in my opinion. So yeah, so at the end of the day, when she brushed it off, I truly think that was the case. She brushed it off. She never looked at Apollo as the love of her life, as the husband that she truly loved. He was just an item for her and can be used. And I personally feel like a lot of people were saying back in the day when he went to prison during that last stint, he was taking a rap for both of them, allegedly. But anywho, went back and told the conversation that was had. Yes, she did do that. But why did she do that? She did that because of the get back. After Porsha sat up there and said she better be careful before I F her husband, all bets was off at that point. And I don't blame Angela at that point. So, yeah, Angela went back and explained what Porsha said to her and vice versa to Shamia, because I feel like that was a mean game of chess to put their butts out there because of what happened during that trip, during Porsha's trip. See, I think that was a calculated move, and it was a masterful one that didn't seem forced where I'm rolling my eyes. It was like a chess game type of calculated. But yeah, she did that purposely because of what had happened. I don't think if Porsha ever said some mess about effing her husband, she would have went there, but she went there to cause friction on purpose. On purpose. But it was done very, very well. And I actually enjoyed it. I really, really did. But anywho, with that being said, after that, child, the episode goes off. Britt tried to have the last moment. It was boring. It fell flat. No one cared. Even Shamia was like, don't nobody care. Go read the room. What we do know is we left your event hungry as hell. And then the episode goes off. Clearly, the next episode, we are going to see even more drama when it comes to Britt. Britt does not know how to talk to people. She definitely has some freaking sincere issues. I don't know what is going on with her. But what I do know is the queen of this episode was Drew, honey. It was Drew. I think Angela is wearing off on Drew. She is coaching her behind the scenes on how to read these hoes and how to lay it down and let them know that you will not be bothered. Hey, Alex. And for those, I'm sorry if I missed you guys. Denise, Danielle, Alex, V baby. What's up? What's up, crew? But yeah, so it goes to Drew. Drew did her thing this episode. I want to see more of scenes like this with Drew. Okay. I'm tired of the scenes about Ralph or even her situation with Ralph. I want to see scenes like this where she's very calm and she get them heifers together. Like Angela. They're going to be a nice little tag team. A nice little tag team. But yeah, you guys, let me see what the poll says. So, is it time to end the Real Housewives of Atlanta? It is almost at 50% on each, but 47% say yes and 53% say no. So I guess you guys still feel like there's hope for Atlanta. So, I mean, that's good. That's good. I don't know if I have any hope for it though, but maybe they will actually get rid of all of the old heads, keep Angela, and Angela can maybe create a cast that really will be able to work around her, because Angela is serving. She really is serving. So maybe that's the case. Now, rumor has it, I heard Porsha may be fired from the show. I heard she may be fired. Now, I don't know how true that is, but apparently she is not given this season, which she's not. Hell no, she's not. And so production and them is like, she'll waste the money. So yeah, apparently, now that's the rumor. That's the rumor. I don't know how true that is, but apparently, allegedly, that is the rumor. But yeah, with that being said, let me see who's in here. So the contract. Okay, so I figured her not being at that freaking anniversary. I was like, I'll be damn if I miss my anniversary. But yeah, so with that, so that's the reason why Kelli missed the first day of school, because they had to go. Okay. Yeah, because not with them heifers. I would not spend my anniversary with them heifers. Yes, I love that Drew is standing up for herself too. Hey, Hankin, fellow content creator. Make sure you guys follow Hankin. It's time to make rules. No walking out of scenes and being private, but outing others like Porsha. Yeah, because Porsha walked out of the scene real quick when Drew was about to gather her and gather her good. Okay, that's the thing. Porsha don't really know how to have conflict resolution. You could tell it was either two things in her whole entire life: walk away or fight. And it's kind of sad to be in her 40s acting like that. But, I guess that's how she was raised, child. But with that being said, you guys, let me know what you guys think. Oh my gosh, we're at 50% on both. 16 votes. 50% of you guys are saying yes, and 50% of you guys are saying no. That may be the reason why the viewership is going down. Okay? The viewership is going down when you literally have 50-50 saying, yeah, it's time to end it, or no, it's not. That may explain why. But honestly, I think Angela and the right producers, right casting, they don't need Porsha no more. They don't need Phaedra. I honestly think that was a waste of money. Kelli can come back if she knows how to stop being a pick me and be her own person, because she's trying to do whatever she can to stay on the show. Britt, hell no. Shamia gonna beg to come back, but I don't even know what Shamia is bringing at this point. Honestly, you can keep Shamia one more season if Porsha is not there. I want to see what Shamia is like without Porsha. Can she hold her own without a Porsha beef? That's what I want to know. But with that being said, you guys, let's continue the conversation below. What did you think about this episode? Oh, and then another thing about Shamia saying that Drew needs to be accountable. Shamia, what the hell have you been accountable for? I hate when people sit up there and say people need to take accountability, but they don't take accountability for anything. Fake accountability. Shamia, take accountability for you not checking Porsha for saying that about a married man with that woman right there, room right above the pool. But you don't want to take accountability for that. But anywho, with that being said, you guys, thank you guys so much for listening. Replay gang, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Also, please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on my next video. Toodles.